I have to do a bunch of shirts in black because I have a video shoot. We are nominated for Manufacturer of the Year in Aurora, Canada, and I want the staff all to wear something. So I'm going to put the just a wings logo with my initial on the back. Why? Because it's a nice logo with the wings. And then I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to do some left chest stuff. But this shirt here is an Elevate product by Trimark, and there isn't a lot of space to put stuff, so you're certainly not going to embroider this, but debossing is really nice. And right here I've got the counter die. You don't have to zoom in just yet. And then over here on the machine I've got the embossing die. I've got the lasers coming down and aiming, so I'm going to register this, and it's going to be relatively quick, and I'll show it to you right after. So like usual, when the president's doing the work, this is the most expensive way to emboss. You don't have to get the president to do the work, but it's pretty simple to set up. So I'll slide this down a little bit here, and if you can zoom in for a second just into this area, have you got that? You see that there's some red laser marks here, and they're shining down, and I'm trying to get it balanced right in between here. So I gotta make sure everything's lower, because when the embossing machine comes down, I don't want anything raised to get pinched. I have the laser to make sure that everything's straight, and I'm ready to turn it around. Now, if I had to do a production of, 1,500 or 2,000 pieces, then I would start to set up and go here. I just press the foot pedal, it's pressing down over there, and in 12 seconds that image is done. So I could be using that time to re-register and reload. I just haven't done it because, like I said, I'm going to switch it and do something for the left chest over here. And that bang noise is the sound of making money. So can you just zoom in here one more time? And now when I pull this off, what I've got is a beautiful logo right in between the shoulder blade there. And what's very cool, on the inside, there's absolutely nothing to touch the skin. And that's going to stay there because the temperature that we use is higher than what you'd ever use at a dry cleaner or your dryer or your washer or whatever the client or the end user will wear. And you've got one of the most cool decorations. So I'll just grab another one. This is medium. Turn it over, slide the bottom underneath, press it down, make sure everything's lower, make sure it's centered over here. Just feel it with my fingertips, see that it's balanced. I can rotate that around. And without a joke, I think Tim is on the video on the main website, and Tim's had the embossing machine for many years, but I know for a fact that when he started off, him and his father would do the work, and they literally, not that I recommend it, had a video player on top of the machine, and they pump out the job all day, all night long. So look at that. If you don't think that's stunning, I'm black and it's shiny, it's 3D, and it's 12 seconds, and every 12 seconds I could be doing that. The wife says I didn't show it long enough. But before I switch anything, you got that there? Zoom right in. Boss says it's beautiful, so we can continue. Okay, you got the video running? Just back off there. Ooh, it's hot today in the warehouse. So now I've got a different style of jig, and the purpose of this jig, I'm gonna move the laser lights out of the way, is to set myself up for doing a left chest. And here's the die. Here's the die right here. So I've got to basically hold this down, and I've got to center it. Now I'll take a piece and see how I can get the left chest on there. I get it right about over here. The embossing is a pressure related device, heat, time, and pressure, and I've got to get that die dead center over here. So the first thing I'm going to do is mount the jig, and the purpose of the jig is to make your life really easy. I'm not nervous, I'm just sweating because the warehouse door is open, and it's like the hottest summer we've ever had here in Toronto. Take this two-way tape off. I'm going to lay this center right about here, and you notice if I did a jacket, if I did certain products, I could rotate this to do whatever I want to get it whatever direction I need to get it in. You don't have to zoom in just yet. We don't want everybody to know all the trade secrets. Then I'm going to prepare for the counter die. Oh, I cut myself somehow. Get a bit of masking tape. This is the counter die, and on these wearables you need to have something, because metal against metal would just cut it and wreck it. Somewhere I cut myself, so I'm going to put man's band-aid on, which is masking tape, so I don't get any of it on the product. Good that we're not doing white today. Next stage is I've got to mount the die, and this is a bit tricky, so I'm just going to find out where it's level, and the way to do that is grab a ruler and a pencil. So I got to grab one. What I'm doing here is I'm making a little streak and a mark just so I can get that level. I take my heat tape. This is the whole setup process, and I have to show this finally on video, because when I'm talking to you people, when our reps are talking to you people, you don't believe that the setup is so quick. A die like this, and I can, would you mind going on Jane's desk and grabbing the box of dies we ordered? I want to show you exactly what it costs to make a die. So now I'm going to rotate this over here. Have you got it panned out? The video panned out? I'm going to make sure the other die is off, because that's always a big mistake. If the other die would have been left on, then I would have two dies come together and I'd have an issue. So I just knocked it off on that side. I'm going to adjust the pressure. I'm going to press the foot pedal, and it's going to go down. Thank you very much. So this is very cool, because these are all dies, and these are all logo specific. When you order a sample kit, you'll see them, and it's detailed, an absolute total nightmare with embroidery that's extremely quick to to do. You're never going to write the word golf club this small, and I'll put some pictures in the video later on. It's just impossible. You couldn't do it. So when you're looking at dies like a bank, this is NHL, this is Tampa Bay Lightning, this is an embossing die and a debossing die. Do you want to zoom in there for a second? So the one logo, when you're in there, let me know. The one logo is pressing the outline down and the inside gets raised or stuffed. And this one here is pressing the whole image down. So remember, D for debossing, D for down. This is a cool logo because if you had to do the embroidery of these check marks, it would just be a complete nightmare for you to digitize. You wouldn't get it right the first couple times. It's almost impossible. You have the thread tension issue, and then you're doing it on these textiles here that are so thin that's a complete headache to register to embroider it without any pucking. That's hot, so I put it out of the way without using your hand. Now I'll take a look at this. I'll grab a scrap shirt and I'll find the position and set up the laser. So if you're just doing this for a living and you want to get it done, you don't have to do all this fancy talking. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to do a hit. Again, I could be setting up the opposite side so that I have productivity, and every 10-12 seconds I'm knocking a piece out. That same logo would take you maybe 12 minutes to produce because of the stitch. That bang is nice because the stitch count is always 5 to 8,000. That just takes more time. So here I've got that image, and notice that I made the die a little bit crooked. So I'm gonna use my lasers here. Hi Darm, go ahead. That's it. That's my registration now. So if you want to zoom in here, what I've done is I put a box around here. These lasers are brand new, so there's a bit of stiffness to it. I can loosen them up, but I want them stiff so they stay registered, and now I can go and I can hit this piece right here. All right, so I'll do it. I'll test it one more time. I'm going to increase the pressure a little bit because I want it to be a bit more shiny. And I'm going to go down and hit it. So this is the old piece. We would keep this material. We would label it, and it would go in a file folder with the label that it's a debossing die for XYZ company, and they'd have that hand. So now I've got a nice shiny logo. And take a look over here and zoom in there. Enough time there? Don't want the boss complaining that there wasn't enough time. Barry, what size are you? Medium? You're going to have to get naked in front of the camera and put on this shirt. Now everybody's working out before I do a video now. So in a production setting, when I've got to do, 24 for a customer and you haven't been doing it for 13 years like I have, I would have a person on a table and mark it quickly so I could use the laser to register that spot. I have no looping, I have no big complicated setup, and now I'm ready to hit it. Make sure all this shirt is lower so nothing happens to it. Don't forget, to make money, you're unloading, you're reloading, you're redoing it each time, okay? And a few more seconds to go, halfway. And that decoration in low volume is a $4 or $5 decoration. The higher volume, it's like $3.50, and you see how much time it takes. Ready? Got it? There we go. Barry, take the tags off. Can't wear it like a gang with your tags on. So I'm using the lines to register to a specific spot here. This shirt gets easier because I've got more places to register, and I can register it with the flacket here. So I've got the line that's straight. Even if the die isn't straight, I measure right with the laser. Now, I don't want to be misleading. If you got the camera on me, it's so hot. I'm in a cotton shirt. I can't wait to get on one of the dry wicking. It's really not that hard work. It's just that it's like, 30 degrees Celsius plus in this office here in the warehouse. Okay, so what I have to do is check that the placket is lined up here, square. I've got this here, got this down, ready to go. See the next one here? Extra large, I can't wait. Okay, so I just switched shirts because it was so freaking hot, and we found out 2 guys don't have shirts. So we're almost, and I'm gonna have to do a switch over one more time, so it's good to prove the fact to you. You can start your timer. That's it. The boss gets to make the big mess after everybody cleans up. You pull the material out of that one. So this is a much heavier shirt, actually. I can feel it by manipulating it. I'll look at the collar here, get it addressed over here, get that registered, make sure this is all down, make sure it's off the edge. Sheen's still on. I'm gonna set this up again in the meantime, because I took it off, remember, and I've got to do 2 more shirts, so I want to set it up. Ran out of tape here. So I went from a large, right, to a small. Hey, this one's for you. Check that it's on. You remember this die? We had the heat tape on there. I'm gonna set it up again, register it. In the meantime, biggest mistake you can make is leave the other die on. Heat tape away. Now, I won't press the foot pedal. What I'm gonna do is knock off the other die. Now, for some of you that aren't in Canada, this is the unique device. It's a piece of cut hockey stick that's really hard, and it's included with every machine. As a matter of fact, there's a special. Order the hockey stick, get a free embossing machine. No, just needs to be a hard piece of wood, that's all. So now it's on there. The die is off. I can press down, I can hold it down. I've got this shirt done again. And what I want to do is set up to do the back. So I'm always going to do a piece of scrap first. I'm going to take that die a few seconds to warm up. And I'm just going to cut something on the side over here. Put that hot die over there. Do a scrap shirt. Register my laser again. I'm going to do this right over a seam. I don't really care. And that'll be a good thing to show you exactly what happens when you emboss. If you have a seam, you generally have 2 layers of material folded over and then sewn. So you're going to have more crush area, and that generally will be more shiny. We'll take a look at what the result mouth is, because generally you don't want to hit that area at all. So if you can zoom in here, and right here is that seam. So you're actually a little bit lucky on this because it's relatively small, but you really don't want to hit it that way because you might lose some of the effect, but you're generally okay there. So I want to do one little trick here. I want to lift something up in the middle. I want to get more impression. I'm gonna yank up the pressure a bit. I'm gonna register myself off of the middle here. So I put a cross here just to know exactly where the middle is. If some of you just tuned in, the reason we're not using any kind of backing in this particular case is because we have a synthetic. We're using high pressure, high temperature, and time to brand it in, and it permanently alters the garment. Undo the buttons here. Forgot to do that on a smaller shirt. Now you notice how this has a logo in here. What I'm going to do is make sure that I press a little bit below it because I don't want to squeeze any of this ink through the textile, so I will keep the logo on the back side below this area here. Press this down. Got somebody here to actually do the video, so the real video for the award ceremony. Hopefully we're one of the nominees. Hopefully we win that. We'll let you know. And I got one more shirt to do right there. This one I keep lower because I've got that yoke that I've got to deal with. Put this down here, keep everything low, tuck it in down. And here's that shirt I just did a second ago, nicely registered. There you go. I put this one lower down to stay out of the yoke. Okay, that's it. Now I gotta go. Talk to you later.